Morning Facebook, how are we? So it is very quiet in my office as usual, but this morning I already have a coffee. Win! So I wanted to do a quick video this morning all about getting feedback from your site visits and your viewings, your investors going out and looking at houses. So yesterday, this happened inside of my internal team, so I'm going to share that with you a little bit, and then tell you what I think I probably would have done slightly differently had it just been me, but what I think you guys should do if you're kind of having this issue. My jumper's sticking in my back. Sorry, let me just move it. So when you source a deal, get it secured, and the next thing that you need to do is to send your buyer out to go and actually see the house. So meet the landlord, take a look round, check that it's not falling down and that the landlord's told you all the right information and all those sorts of things. Okay, so the buyer's going to go out and see the house. Ultimately what they're doing is they're going to see whether or not they actually want to take that house on or not. Now what happened yesterday is we had a buyer go out to see a house in Luton, and the call came in after the meeting, and basically the investor said to me, well, you know, it's good on the surface of it, but there's a bit of money to spend on it, maybe a bit more than the landlord really was kind of letting on. We did find like a patch of mould on one of the walls, and we did, you know, this is all there were a few problems. Now for me, when I hear a problem, I don't hear the problem, I start to think about what's the solution to it. So my immediate question was, okay, great, brilliant, what's the workaround? What do you need it to look like? How do we structure this to make sure that it's still attractive for you? You know, do we need to agree a rent-free period to cover the cost of the redecoration? Do we need to ask the landlord to do some work on it before you take it? You know, what is the workaround? That's the question. That is the difference between a sourcer, and I've got a source from my team who's quite new, who heard the feedback and immediately thought, oh fuck, that's it, the deal's gone, got a little bit like deflated and was a bit, went off and made a cup of tea. And then when he come back and I'd finished the conversation with the investor and had that kind of honest, open conversation about, you know, what is the workaround, how do we make this work, hadn't realised that he was walking back into a conversation that had ended up being that there potentially were two houses there rather than just the one, and the investor actually, if we can help get the landlord to share the risk in terms of the costs, is happy potentially to take both of them. Now that, you know, that's a good outcome in my opinion. That's a good outcome, and it's a good outcome because you've not just stopped, you've not done all that hard work and got nowhere to go. So the point of this video this morning really is to just say that when you're getting your feedback from your investors, you know, whether it's a rent to rent, whether it's a service department, whether it's a purchase or even a development, you know, we're putting development offers out and things like that now. And when the person comes back to you and says, do you know what, I need this, this and this changing, then it's a deal, then listen to them. Take this, this and this to the vendor, to the landlord, and say, look, our client is basically telling us that we can absolutely move ahead, but we need this, this and this changing, or we need this contract clause rewriting, or we need some decorating doing, or we need you to do X, Y and Z. Most of the time, you have to remember that actually, most of the time, the reason people are talking to you in the first place is because they've got a problem. They've got a problem that needs fixing, okay? Maybe they need to sell their house quickly, maybe they need to rent it out because they've got voids, whatever the situation is, ultimately they need a fix. If you've got that fix, quite often they are flexible to do whatever you need them to do to give them that solution long term. And you know, especially this was for a rent to rent opportunity, so he's going to have a tenant in there for the next 5 years, and actually he's now got another house that he's given us, which is a licensed HMO. So potentially we've got one tenant across two houses, massive solution. He's been sat with an empty house because I guess his walls have got mould on, and you know, he probably just doesn't either have the money to pay for it right now, or doesn't care, or whatever it is. There's loads of reasons why landlords let their houses get into those conditions. But my thoughts on it are, work with your investor to understand what makes the deal stack for them. If there's some tweaks to be done, then go back and negotiate those tweaks. There's no harm in going back and actually having that conversation as a grown-up and saying, look, actually, we need this, this and this, and then we're done. Then we can absolutely move forward. Are you happy with it or not? So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you that little tip. Don't always take the negative feedback as a negative feedback. Sometimes see it as an opportunity. You know, process it, listen out for what the workaround is, use it to inspire you to find a solution, and you'll find that will close you out more deals rather than listening for the no's and then doing nothing with it. Have a great day, guys. I am off to do some recording. See you later, bye.